I feel about that.
Says we're going live.
Says we're going
Says
live.
we have an excellent connection.
It's told us that before. It says we're here.
Yeah, says we're live.
I don't actually know if I'm here until my existence is validated by
I don't know
others.
either.
No. But we are here slightly earlier than usual
Yep.
because internet connections. We're going to move forth as if we are definitely here.
Right.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Kayla Lords
John Brownstone.
of Loving BDSM, where we help kinksters like you have happy, healthy power exchange relationships. This is a weekly live stream while we record our podcast. The audio podcast version hits all major podcast apps every Friday. We are here 10 minutes early, mostly because we're always here a little early, but we're working on a new internet connection and we're paranoid, so we're here early. If you are here for the live but do not like idle chit chat, you got 10 minutes. If you are here after the live but before I put in timestamps, you should fast forward by about 10 minutes. We are here.
Mr. Spock, I'll talk about the finger when we get to the bonus section.
He'll give us the finger later.
Yeah.
Hi, Eva. Hi, Mr. Spock. Hi, Kitty. Hi, Computer King. Hi, Silent Wing. Hi, Missy. Hi, Little Threat. Hi, Kylie. So, hi, Lola. Are you coming? Are you coming to say hello, too? We've changed the angle a little bit. You might not be seen quite as much. Hi, Lady Bledding. So, we're here.
Here we are.
Not weirdly, because we pulled today's topic straight from the headlines of our own life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not like amped up like I often am. I don't know what to say right now. I know what to say about the topic. I got that. But like, I don't know what to talk about right now.
Yeah, I know.
My butt still hurts from what you did to it earlier for the spicy page.
Good.
Yeah, I know. You're very proud of yourself.
I'm very proud of what I did earlier to your butt.
Hi, Drina. Hi, sassy girl. Thanks, Little Threat. It's fading. I can't tell if it's fading faster.
It's been holding pretty good, actually, from my point of view.
In like regular natural light in the bedroom, the very top feels very, very light, but I'm looking at it on camera. It's not as light as it looks to me in real life. Hi, Tayshu. Hi, Kim. So yeah. I don't know. I'm feeling kind of quiet. Which is weird. I know everybody's like, you quiet? It happens.
I kind of am too. I mean, contemplating what we're going to be talking about.
Yes,
Okay.
I know. It felt like the right idea when we discussed it, but now then thinking about talking about it, I'm like, it is still the right idea. However,
now that it's actually here. Yeah.
I mean, not that we're strangers to bearing our souls and other parts to the internet. So yeah.
Yeah.
See, I know, Mr. Spock pointed.
Right?
It does happen. Quite frankly, if I get quiet, I'm either exhausted or you should check on me. The exhaustion is usually the reason I'm quiet, but or I'm deeply uncomfortable and just want to be in a corner. Like that happens too.
I can relate to that.
But there was a time when I don't think that you could relate as well as you can relate now.
True. True.
So, yeah, I've got on my hair, speaking of the shade or tone or level, whatever, I don't know words. I will not be getting it done again until mid-May because I'm doing a 12-week, because this stuff's expensive. And I work really hard to like maintain the color as best I can. So we'll watch it fade over the next several weeks.
But the method to your madness in that too is that way just before the oldest's graduation.
I got fresh hair.
You got fresh hair.
And almost no roots coming through. Yeah.
So.
Hi, Lauren. Hi, Allie.
We're both of us in our own ways very excited for the upcoming graduation, and yet also in our own ways kind of like deer in the headlight staring at a life-changing moment happening.
Yep. I'm sure we'll talk more about it maybe in the bonus section, maybe just as the time goes by, but a week from this Saturday we're going to view apartments for my baby, who is only 17 as of right now and will not turn 18 until July, a month before he goes off to college. What even is life?
Right.
I also think he's going to be fine. A lot of it is set up very similar to student housing. And we're 45 minutes away. He's going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to be fine is really the question, and we shall find out.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's wild. It's wild. It's exciting, but I think back to when both kids were much younger, and it was the harder years because I did not know I was doing what is now today called gentle parenting or responsive parenting, but at a certain point, that's what I started doing imperfectly. No book told me to. I just went, how about we do the exact opposite of what was done to me? That seems like that might be helpful. And there were times at certain ages when they're learning how to say no and have their own opinion. And I certainly didn't know about regulating my emotions versus theirs or any of that stuff. And there were times it was so hard. And I was like, I hate this crap where people say you're going to miss this. And I really don't miss those ages. I look at pictures of those little baby faces and I'm like, oh, I do miss them, but I don't. I'm happy with where we're at now. But there were times then I was like, eventually, the mantra I would tell myself is they're going to grow up. They're going to move out. Just wait. You'll get to be not just mom anymore at some point in life.
Right.
And now I'm at the first step of the first one and I'm like, but wait, I don't know if I'm ready. Does he need to grow up? Is he ready? Am I ready? He's ready. He's beyond ready.
I find myself when I'm walking through the living room, stopping and staring at the wall pictures.
I know, and I've got more pictures, and I need to get a collage thing to get more pictures up. I know both of their little baby faces.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and to see those pictures, so often, in the time we've been in the house that we put them up, we just kind of walk by.
Just don't even think about them.
And don't even think about it. And now, looking at him where he's at and what he's about to do, I stop and look at those pictures and it's like,
I do it with the youngest too, because I have the pictures that we've got up on our walls are from when age range from when the youngest was about 18 months to 2 years. So his big brother was 5 to 6. And so their babyness is at different levels. So I'll walk past one of the frame things and it's the youngest when he was about 18 months and he had just this chubby little happy round face and his eyes would light up when he would smile and I'm like, oh, my baby. And then I look at this 6 foot tall. Is the 13-year-old 6 feet? If he's not, he's damn close. Slightly sullen child. For different reasons, and many of them quite accurate. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. And it's and then I look at pictures of the big brother when he was, oh my God. I'm going to be one of those people. Let's see. I've got, hi X, hi Rara. Let's see. Hi Taishu. I can't remember if I said hi to you. You would be my double hi for the day if I already did. Hi Junie. Let's see. Okay, I think I got it.
Well, hello and welcome everybody.
We still got 3 minutes to go.
Glad you can join us.
I meant you're doing your thing and that's good. But I was like, it feels like we should be starting, but we really have 3 minutes to go.
Well, I am sitting here and I know you can't see. If I look over, I can see all kinds of crazy flashing lights between the converter and the new router and I am just in happy geek heaven watching those lights flicker.
For you. I just wanted to fucking work, y'all. I don't care what the magic is, what the science is, what the technology is. I don't care how it happens. I just want it to fucking work. So I'm glad it does. Hi Mally. Yeah, I've been in my feelings a lot lately.
Yeah.
Both positive and... I don't know. They've not been negative. I feel like I don't know. We'll talk about some of that when we get into the topic. But when I sit still, even though I know I have an entire to-do list and we have all these things, we're blah, blah, I would tell you that I've got nothing to say, nothing to think, nothing. It's very quiet up here. I don't like it. I prefer when all the wheels are spinning and the gears are turning. Thank you. That is my normal, and I prefer it that way. So, Junie, you're right. He does look good in that color. He looks very
you.
good in a lot of, I'm going to eye roll and air quote feminine colors. So like he's got pretty corals and salmons and pinks and light blues and purples. And he looks good in all of them. It's the olive skin. I haven't come across a color I'm like, no, I don't think you should wear that. Hi, Christina. So, Silent Wing said, now that we have the perfect internet, the suffering is being distributed to everybody else.
Yeah.
I apologize.
So sorry.
There had to be a balance in the universe, I guess. We went 3 years with very frustrating but expensive internet, and it seems like we are now in a new 3-year period where it will be more expensive but much less frustrating. I'm looking forward to that era. We were under contract with our business internet thing, and weirdly it's under my email but JB's name.
Yeah.
I don't know how we did that. But so I was like, okay, look, I have set up everything for the new internet connection with the city and I was like, I've even answered my phone and returned phone calls. Can you please call the old company and tell them we're not doing this anymore when our contract ends? And he was like, yeah, sure. So I was in the room when he made the call Monday?
Yeah.
Okay. And I was so grateful he was the one that made the call, because they clearly were doing the sales thing of, oh, can you tell us why you're canceling, you're not going to renew your contract, because then they would try to sell us something else. And he just kept going, because I no longer need the service, because I no longer need the service. And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad he did that, because I would have eventually said that, but it would have been awkward and weird, and I might have said too much, and I might have I don't know. I was like, oh, I'm so glad that was not my job. Thank you so much. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll talk about it a little later, but it was really, that was one phone call I was really happy to make.
I can't wait till you make the phone call for the home internet now.
Yeah.
Because we know this is going to work out. We think this is going to work out for the whole house. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
So ultimately, it will not be more expensive. It will be cheaper. It's very exciting. Anyway, it is now 12:01 and we should get started.
It's rock and roll, Ralph. Rock and roll.
So, as you can tell from the title, we are talking about our personal experiences with depression within our DS relationship and our power exchange. We do have to do time traveling here, so I can't tell you if there should be any content warnings or trigger warnings on any particular thing. I think it's just safe to say this tends to be kind of a heavy topic when people talk about mental illness in general, but depression, in our individual cases, we might touch on some hard topics. If you are not in the mental space for that this week, we are not offended if you gotta skip this. It's fine. Please take care of yourself. Quite frankly, if that's the case for you, and you're watching the stream or you're watching the video, skip to the bonus section or wait until I've got timestamps in and come back for the bonus section, because that'll be the fun part. But yeah, I can't tell you what exactly will be said, but just assume it's probably a slightly heavier topic than normal. If that has not scared you the hell away and you enjoy the conversation we're having here, the topic, all that good stuff, we love a thumbs up. If you like it enough to want to come back for more, please consider subscribing.
And once you subscribe, ring that notification bell so you get updates and new content.
Yeah, just do what Daddy says, whatever.
Just a thing to do.
Whatever, just do what he says. I have found life is easier when you just do what he says.
Or, I could put more emphasis, smash that.
No, we don't. No, the only thing that better get smashed is me by you in multiple kinky ways, okay?
And one of those happened this morning.
My butt still hurts. We're not smashing fucking subscribe buttons around here, okay? Or follow buttons or any of that bullshit. Gently tap if you want. It's fine. I mean, get consent from whatever entity you're tapping, clicking, or whatevering on, and if they like it rough, then you smash. And if they don't, then don't. Okay, so there we go. I think that's it. Because the things I have to say next are for everybody, so I think you can click the button. Have I forgotten everything? Probably.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so before we get into today's topic, do we have announcements? Of course we have announcements. It's our damn show and we can do that. We always sponsor ourselves because, y'all know. But we actually have 2 announcements. There are 2 shop updates, depending on your flavor of things you want to shop for. Over at the Kinkery, thekinkery.com, just this week of recording, we have finally added, we're labeling them white wax play candles, but they're actually dye-free. So they will look white, and if you pour enough on the body, depending on skin tone, the wax will dry white-ish, but they're really dye-free, made specifically with people who might have allergies or sensitivities to typical dyes in mind. So you're just pouring straight wax. We never put fragrance in. We do soy, which is the gentlest heat that's more like warm, not hot, and paraffin, which is the hottest wax you can, air quote the word safely, pour on your skin. We have to air quote safely because everything we do in kink carries risk. But yeah, so that is now available on the Kinkery at thekinkery.com. The link is in the places straight to the wax play section of the shop. If you are interested in new wax play candles, we have 3 other colors currently that were already in our catalog: black, purple, red. White / dye free is the newest one. We have more colors coming. I can hear rah now. Pink is the next color in the list that we're going to start adding. I just got to get more supplies. So yeah, dye-free candles now available, plus all the other things that we make, but that's like the update because we've been teasing that for a while. And the second shop update is for the Loving BDSM Etsy shop. We now have, thank you God, physical products. I'm having to roll these out slowly because I have way more ideas and plans than time in the day. We are starting with a line of die cut stickers. They're about 2.5 on the widest or the longest side, and then the dimension on the other side will change depending on the shape. For podcast listeners, you can't see what I'm describing, but if you go to that handle I fucking hate on Instagram, and probably slowly on FetLife, and probably some on Twitter, by the time you can hear this episode, pictures will be up. For YouTube folk, I'm going to show a little bit at the camera. I'm not going to take 100 years, but I just want to give you some ideas of what I've got. I purchased the artwork from an artist, and then bought the commercial license so I can legally sell the pieces, make things with them. Will you hold this up at the camera for me? This first one is an example of a spanked booty sticker in a heart-ish sort of shape. Yeah, there we go. Will it focus? The other, I have some that are like candy hearts. They're either in pink or purple. They say different things, like brat, which is the one we're showing to the camera now, cum slut, good girl, use me daddy. One says daddy, one says fuck me, one says fuck off. And then there are some sex toys, paddles and butt plugs. Here's a paddle one to show. And again, y'all, if you cannot see this because you're listening, by the time the podcast episode goes out, there will be pictures up. I literally just got these up on Etsy Tuesday night. Let's see. This I hope will one day be a t-shirt. There's also a line of stickers that are just words, no pictures. The one that is facing the camera now says brat and proud. I also have one that says bratty slut, shy slut, and slut in training. So that's a start. We have tons. There's 24 die cut stickers. Over time, there will be sticker packs. I already have those planned out. I just have to get them together, and there will be bundles if you're like, yes, but I want all of them. And I have some more ideas for some more designs. I have some ideas for taking these designs that are currently in sticker form and making other things. That's all dependent on equipment and other stuff. I just dropped a sticker. Hold, please. You're a good girl, Lola. Thank you.
At least Lola didn't try to eat it.
I know. She was very confused. So all of these are available on our Etsy shop. The link is in the places, or you can actually just go to Etsy and search Loving BDSM. We usually pop right up. Yeah, so there's a lot more coming. One day I'll even do planner stickers, but that's long way out for reasons. So yeah, we got that. And we are we're excited about it. I'm excited about it. I'm excited for all the plans I've got, for more stickers, for more types of products. More types of products will be slower incoming because of technology and equipment needs, but we'll get there. So, yeah. 2 shop updates. More wax play candles at the Kinkery, thekinkery.com. Kinky stickers, slowly but surely coming out. Over on the Loving BDSM Etsy shop, link in the places. Okay. I really feel like that was a good thing to start with a lighthearted little shop update.
Yeah.
Because the topic is
'Cause
potentially a heavy one.
Now we're deep diving, right?
Now we're deep diving. Okay.
Okay.
So, this is not a new topic for us to discuss. I think the big difference is, one, we are focusing on depression when there are lots of other mental illnesses and mental health issues that can come into play. And 2, it's new because we have JB to focus on with his own experiences that he had not necessarily had to the same extent in previous episodes. I have linked in the places, show notes for podcast listeners, description box for YouTube folks, to the 2 episodes we've previously done on mental health and how it's impacted our DS. Those have been were a big focus with me because I think in one, I had kind of just recently gotten a diagnosis, and then the next one, a couple years later, things maybe had either flared up or something had gone on, and I was like, let's talk about it. But this time we're sharing our experiences with depression and the impact that's had at the time that things have been whatever we felt, the impact on our power exchange. Now, I think most of y'all know this, but I like to say it because every once in a while a new person like rolls in and they don't get it, so I must say it. First of all, we are not medical or mental health professionals, cannot diagnose anything, cannot tell you about your situation, or we are not trying to. Our experiences are unique to us and may not at all look like or sound like your experiences, and all of our experiences are valid. 3, I would not call this an air quote educational episode, meaning we're not trying to share lessons you should take on for yourself or consider. More like here's a peek, and if you can relate to this, then good. That's good, because I want people to know they're not alone. If you can't relate because you have no experience with depression, I think as JB's sort of side of it may show, it can happen to anyone because not all depression is clinical and persistent and ongoing. Sometimes it's situational. There's all kinds of ways that these things manifest. So if you're like, I've never had to worry about it and it's never been a factor, maybe this will help you if it ever does become a factor for you in a power exchange relationship in the future. But yeah, we are not trying to tell anybody how their experiences should go or what their experience. This is us.
This is just us talking about what we are experiencing.
Right. And if you can relate, then it's always nice to know we're not alone. But if you can't, that's okay. Having completely different experiences than what we're describing is absolutely valid. And I'm giving everybody one more warning. I've said this to everybody now. We don't know what specific things we might touch on about depression and where it's come from or how it's manifest or what the factors. So it could be a heavy topic. If you're not in the place for that right now, our feelings are never hurt when you got to skip one.
We're not hurt if you need to step back from this. Absolutely.
Please take care of yourself. Okay. So, and what I will try to do for podcast listeners, because I do it for YouTube with timestamps, and podcast listeners, what I'll try to do is put in go to this time if you just want the bonus section and just fast forward, that kind of thing. So for anybody who's like got to tap out, it's fine. Okay. So, and I think I said it, but let me repeat, the episodes where we've previously discussed mental health and RDS are linked in the places. And please remember, we're not mental health experts and we're not trying to give advice or diagnose things. Okay. So I want to start with you because I just, you let me be in charge of this, and so that's how these things go.
That was my first mistake.
Right. So I think it's safe to say, because you haven't told me otherwise, that you have not been diagnosed with clinical depression, but what you have experienced and or are experiencing is more what's known as situational depression.
Yes.
A thing happened, or a series of things, quite frankly, and your brain went, yeah,
we're done with this.
We're done.
Yeah.
We're shutting down in a different way.
That's pretty much what has happened.
Okay.
It has been a culmination of things from health to the anniversary of my mother having been diagnosed with cancer and me caring for her, and then her death from the cancer.
Right.
And it has also been compounded by a family member who was unwilling to settle the estate.
Right.
And I've talked to this person, and I explained to them, I really need some closure on this.
Right. And also, this does not make good financial sense. What are we doing? Yeah.
Even beyond that, right. But I explained to them, it's like, I just really want the closure, because it feels like with this still hanging out there, it feels like it's still open. It's still an open wound, so to speak. And that has really compounded. I knew something was kind of wrong towards the end of last year. And
after your mom had died?
That was after,
okay.
Yeah, well after. The end, going into December of 22. And in January, I sought therapy and have been talking to a therapist since. It has helped.
Sure.
But it has also been difficult.
Yeah, the things that help us usually are. Damn it.
When I first went into therapy, I kind of dumped the first couple times, and that alone seemed to help. As we drew closer, to the beginning of March, I nosedived.
Yeah.
And have kind of been there since.
So for you, based on the experiences you've had recently or even in the past, if you've had past moments like this, what does the depression feel like for you?
For me, it feels like a weight.
Yeah.
It feels like a physical weight that is just dragging me down. For me, it is exhaustion. And to get things done, it's like slogging through mud.
Yeah, I feel that.
I have to force myself to do things.
Yeah. Yeah. So, with what you've been feeling, with therapy, with just everything that's happened, how has the way depression feels for you and what you're feeling, how has that affected you both just as a dominant in general, but also from your perspective within our power exchange?
I have to keep reminding myself that I'm the one in charge here.
I have sometimes had to remind you as well.
And you had to do that too. And I'm grateful for that, because so when you do that, it kind of snaps me back a little bit. There are times, especially like the last few weeks, which has been very difficult. I just want to skate. I just want to skate by under the radar, unnoticed, and be done with it. And it's sometimes a struggle to say, no, I have to.
Sure.
I have to do this. In certain ways, throwing myself into work has been a placebo, maybe.
Maybe. It's something you can and want to focus on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, that's kind of oddly enough, we did a scene this morning.
You were so mean to me. Consensually.
Yeah. That felt good.
Okay.
That felt good. In a sense, because there was nothing to decide.
Mm-hmm.
It was just do.
Yeah.
Okay. There have been times over the last few weeks where I literally have to push myself to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Even going to the gym. I had been very adamant about going to the gym. Saturday, I did not go.
I know. I was a little surprised, but yeah.
Last night, I had kind of a easy out, if I were to say, because of what happened to my
so
finger.
For podcast listeners who can't see it, JB's finger is like, one of his fingers is way bandaged up, all tip to bottom knuckle.
And at the last minute, I decided, okay, I will go, but I will, get on the treadmill or,
And that was because I went.
You did.
Wait, I understand you can't get in the pool. You have got a bandage on your finger, but it's a whole ass gym. There's so much more than just the one class you take. Why not go? And it's funny because on that level, part of me was thinking about your back, that we know that trying to strengthen certain things and exercise in the way that works for the way your body works will ultimately help your back, and nobody wants a repeat of what you've just gone through with that. But also, and I think this was more of a subconscious thing for me, because I'm thinking about it now and going, yeah, that definitely makes sense, but I don't know that I was consciously thinking of it at the time. Exercise can be, for some people, I know it is for me, very good for how you're thinking and feeling. And I was like, if he goes days without doing just a little something, that's probably not going to be helpful. And so
so I did end up going. I spent some time on the treadmill, and then I was on the elliptical, and afterwards it felt good. And I did sleep better than I had.
Stupid fucking exercise.
I know,
stupid
right?
Fucking mental health. What the hell?
Kind of bullshit is that? And I just wanted to comment here, because it was mentioned in the live chat that overworking is not a cure for depression. No, it's not.
No, it's a coping mechanism.
It's a coping mechanism. I dive into what I'm doing and I forget. I can
block out all the other things.
You can block out, and that's kind of what it does for me.
Work is a coping mechanism for my anxiety, not for my depression side, but for my anxiety. So I feel you on that one.
I mean, the other thing that I have noticed through this is I've been drawing away from people.
Oh, yeah. You didn't, and I know there are multiple reasons for this. You didn't go to the Munch this month.
No, I had no. Normally I'm like, I never miss a Munch, and if I do, it's, fighting tooth and nail.
Oh, yeah.
And
you're like halfway out the door, like on Monday when the Munch is on Tuesday.
And already last week I told you, like, I'm not going next week. So it's a sucky feeling.
Yeah.
And it's tough when you are the person who everyone looks to make the decisions. I mean, even outside of the DS, because a lot of times, even though the boys tend to defer to you,
I'm the default parent. Yeah,
you're the default parent. They know that a lot of things.
They know my answer is going to be go ask Mr. John.
Right.
So they're learning to just go fucking ask you.
They know that ultimately things decide from there, and it has been hard. It has been difficult. I'm not going to deny that. And sometimes you know, when you come to me with things and I have to make a decision, when I do it for that brief moment, it reminds me, oh yeah, this is who I am. This is what I do.
Right, yeah. In that brief moment, does it feel temporarily good, or is it just like a reminder of a fact of life?
It does feel good. It kind of bolsters me in that moment.
So that leads me to another question I've got from the power exchange side. Are there things that you wish I would do, or that maybe I'm doing and I'm not aware of, from the submissive perspective, that help? Are there things I do that do not help?
Oddly enough, just as we learned with you years ago, when your anxiety and stuff kicked up, I cannot dom you out of it.
Right.
And just like that, in the opposite way, you cannot submissive me out of it.
No. I can get those brief moments where I'm like, look, a decision has to be made. Can you make this decision? Will you make this decision? And sometimes I'm not so in tune with you that I'm like, he's feeling depressed right now and it's a tough time. I'm like, we have 85 decisions to make and I'm going through my own thing. One of those being decision fatigue, which is an upcoming topic. And I'm like, I need some help, and I'll fall back on our power exchange every time, unless one of us has made the conscious effort to say to the other, whoa, this maybe isn't the right time for that.
Yeah.
So I think I'm aware, but do you find that I come to you too often? Is there a balance? Are there just times when it's right and times when it's wrong?
I think you, because of your own understanding with your neurodivergence,
I'm a spicy brain.
Yeah. You don't overdo it. Okay. You don't overdo it. And if you were, I would say,
right.
Time out. You need to back off here, but you have not.
You're still at a point though you feel like you can communicate those needs even when you're in the middle of that weighty feeling. Okay.
I really do think one of the things my therapist suggested to me was to start a journal, and to get a lot of this gunk out of my head, and she told me, don't type it.
Yeah, there's something about the physical
actually
writing.
Write it.
Yeah.
And she even said it's okay if you don't go back and read it.
Oh, I've never reread a journal entry in my life.
And that actually has helped me.
There's something, too many people are like, oh, you say you're depressed or you're anxious, or like, have you journaled, as if it's some sort of cure. It is in no way that, and this won't work for everybody, of course, but my personal experience, and I'm imagining maybe JB has felt this, he's dealing with a dog right now. JB might have experienced this, is just getting it out of your head onto the paper, so it's not the same thoughts or feelings spinning over and over again. It doesn't fix anything. It doesn't make you, air quote, better, whatever the fuck that means. But it like you said, it gets the gunk out of your head. I personally have, and I do not do it enough. I do it and then I don't do it for months, and I do it for, I'm real weird about it. But when I journal it out, it doesn't live in my head anymore. It lives on the page, and I know it's on the page. So if I did want to go back and look I could. It doesn't solve any of the problems, but it does just make it a little quieter up in my brain hole. So you're saying that is your experience with journaling as well?
For me, that has helped.
Okay.
Yes. It's gotten those thoughts, those feelings out of my head. And part of all this too, going back to the end of 22, with the death of my mother, that brought back a lot of buried things that I had kind of, I don't know if you want to compartmentalized, maybe
repressed,
buried, of certain abuses
Oh yeah,
that
treated like absolute fucking shit by those people.
I went through as a kid, and all that just like was like a dam burst, and it all came
Sure.
pouring out up to the surface. And dealing with all that too. Mm-hmm. So all that has just kind of compounded to where I am at.
Sure. And then, like you said, it manifests as a weight for you, and that's a lot to carry. It's, I'm grateful for both the state of our relationship and for you, in equal parts, quite frankly, that you are willing to seek methods for help. So currently, I think you're doing cognitive behavioral therapy, one of the many CBTs of the world, not to be confused.
Yeah.
By one of the others. If it were recommended, and I don't have a fucking clue if this would be, is medication something you would consider? Is another form of therapy something you would consider? Are you happy with where you're at and you think this is, how are you feeling about that right now?
I'm okay with where I'm at with therapy. I think if medication were recommended, I would probably consider it if,
just add it to the line of pill bottles on the kitchen table.
Yeah.
We're all highly medicated over here.
Part of the reason why I decided to seek out therapy, I just knew that it was not something, as much as our relationship, that we have the communication that we do, I know this is something that you could not help me with. Okay.
Not that I would not try, but
sure,
I would fail spectacularly. And before you finally made the appointment, we were having sort of the tough conversations, and I didn't quite pull out our tough love clause, but I leaned into it a bit. Because we had talked about you starting therapy when you found out your mother was sick, because we could kind of see the writing on the wall that this was a lot. Just the fact of you being a caregiver to a parent that you had very complicated feelings about because of your childhood, and even your adult years, quite frankly.
Right.
And it just didn't happen, and then everything just, in retrospect, it wasn't fast, but everything got so hectic that didn't feel like it could fit. And then here we were on the other side of it after her death, and you were absolutely not, air quote this, yourself. You were you, just with a lot more to carry,
Right.
And once I saw how it was affecting you on a day-to-day basis, which then was affecting all of us, then that's when I kind of went, how we were going to try this back in like March? Let me try this again.
Yeah. You're right. When my mom got sick, I actually did reach out. I had an appointment set. I had even set up the patient portal with them at that time.
Yeah, you were good to go. You just had to have the appointment.
I was basically good to go. And originally it was the understanding that my sister and I would split the care of my mom, and that did not happen.
Like so many good intentions and plans.
It was predominantly me, and I had to pretty much cancel any and all appointments.
Right, your life got put on hold.
Yeah, everything got put on hold at that point. Directly after her death, there was so much going on. I didn't have time to think about me.
Right. No.
And it wasn't until later, going August, going into September, and all that.
And that was one place where the tough love clause looked different than it usually does. So for anybody who's like, what the fuck is a tough love clause? It is an agreement we have in our power exchange that if I see that things are happening where JB is not making decisions that would help him take care of himself, either his physical health or his mental health, I can kind of step in and be demanding, bossy, overbearing, air quote, make it happen. On physical health side, that has absolutely been me making and calling to make appointments. on his hearing aids, I looked him dead in the eyes and went, I will go into debt for this. You're getting hearing aids. We did indeed go into debt for that. Yeah. I don't regret a penny of it. But in this case, I actually had to do it differently because he was like, well, you find me a therapist. I went, I can't find you a therapist. I said, I can give you the resources. And we had the office, the clinic that your therapist works through is where the kids also go for their psychiatric needs and their therapy needs and their evaluations and all of that. Mm-hmm. And the admin side of this place is frustrating.
Yeah.
The actual doctors and clinicians who work there, our experience has been overwhelmingly positive. So I said, look, you have seen what I've gone through with the kids of this place. Mm-hmm. You can go to this place, or I can give you options of other therapists or clinics or whatever. I said, but I cannot pick your therapist for you and set that appointment. Right. You're gonna have to do this. And it was weird because it felt like a confrontational conversation, which I don't like to have just in general, but I definitely don't like to have with my daddy. And I wasn't sure how you took it at first. And I said what I said, and then I backed off, which is unusual for me, but we call that growth. Mm-hmm. So I said what I said, I backed off. I said, you let me know what you need from me. I'll get you the resources, but you tell me. And then I didn't say anything about it again. And I left you kind of alone about that. Not in general, but about that. And then I don't know. I think it was within the next couple days, because of how our computers are situated. I turned my head, and there you are, looking at there, and I was like, "Okay, he's decided what he's going to do then." Okay,
yeah.
And so my tough love was just to lay it out for him and go, here's what I see, here's what I can do, here's what I cannot do, but. I think I might have even used the expression shit or get off the pot.
Yeah.
She said submissively. And then you were ready at that point. And I even said, you have to be ready for this. I can't make you do it. I'm not going to guilt you into doing it, but I'm going to tell you what I see and give you my perspective. Because all of those emotions and feelings and the depression and everything you have to carry around with you about how you feel and what you've gone through. We all know that the mental health that we have impacts all the people closest to us, and everybody in this household knows what it's like to have a brain that goes, yeah, I'm not gonna cooperate. So I think we were all very understanding, but there came a point where how you were feeling got put onto all of us, and that's when it was time to step up and go, look, I support you, I care about you, I hate that you're going through this, I cannot fix this, I'm not trying, but also this grumpy polar bear is not sustainable, and so what can we do about this? So thankfully you were in a place where you could kind of take that in.
I mean, I took that in. There were a couple things we had to consider, because we were right on the verge of changing our insurance, and I did kind of pause enough just to get ourselves on the new insurance.
I mean, everything got put on pause once we did that.
Because I knew enough with this place with the admin, was like, I do not want to go, on top of everything, I do not want to start fighting with them over the insurance.
If we had more options, we'd be somewhere else, quite frankly.
I know. And I kind of waited on that, but I mean, as soon as it hit, I was
and then
on it and in it.
And you've got your appointment scheduled out, I think, into May right now. Like you're really on top of it, and he does telemed, so he doesn't go into the office. And I vacate this office for him to be able to do what he needs to do.
That has been really nice for me. I mean, we have such a crazy life schedule as it is. To get to this appointment, get to that appointment. This boy has this going on. That boy has that going on. Oh. And with the oldest using the second car, we don't have that luxury right now. So it's kind of nice to say, okay, well, I can keep this appointment, but I can do it from my desk, and we don't have to coordinate any kind of.
I think typically, depending on when it is and exactly what time, like the only coordination is, it's like mid-afternoon. Okay, I'll go pick up the kid from school, kind of deal.
And we
make it work.
That kind of helps.
you eliminated a barrier, and a
Yeah.
common barrier is getting to an appointment or maintaining an appointment. And a telemed existed before the plague, but it, out of sheer necessity, just
It's become
exploded.
a bigger.
And while I prefer, and the kids prefer, to go in person for their particular appointments, the fact that it's an option, anything that can, especially when it's something that's affecting your mental well-being, which just makes it hard to like physically move through the world, anything that can eliminate an extra step that otherwise you'd go, maybe this is too hard, maybe I can't do this today. In a worst case situation, you could like roll over in the bed like a burrito if you needed to, as long as you could face a screen and still have that appointment, know.
Right.
So I think that just in general is helpful.
That's been a big boon. Yeah. And it's been great. Tried it with my phone the first time. Our cell reception here is horrid.
It's a little. We'll find out what it's like now that we've got the good internet.
Yeah.
Who knows? We might get to do more things.
And sitting in my computer has been fine.
And you're comfortable there. And like I said, you get total privacy. I leave the room. Nobody enters. And then you can just do what you need to do.
And kind of going back to another thing there, I said a lot of times when you come to me to make a decision, for the most part, it does kind of bolster me. But, there are times when you come in, and this is nothing on you at all, but, you come to me and say, oh, we need to make a decision about this. We need to talk about this. And I'm just like, one more thing. I'm
not offended because I'm like, I know that feeling. I know that feeling very well.
And so yeah. I mean, while there are times it bolsters me, there are also times when it feels like it's just more weight added on.
So you had said earlier that you had kind of maybe started feeling like you were coming out of some of it a little bit, and then March hit, and for both of us, March is a weighty month because we have birthdays of lost loved ones, anniversaries of deaths. I think we mentioned that in last week's episode. I have always found March to be a very difficult month in general. But overall, do you have a sense of maybe there is light at the end of the tunnel, or this is just, I'm just getting through my daily slog and I can't see that? Like, how, where do you feel like you're at right now?
For a while there, I felt like I was just putting one foot in front of the other and getting through day to day. I am starting to see the light. One thing in therapy, and this is something I am trying to work on. This is my own thing at this point. Because therapist and I have been talking a lot about the things that happened when I was younger, when I was a kid, and it's kind of a hard thing. I know it's true. There's the part of me that knows it's true, but it's been a very slow and gradual thing to accept. When she said, all these things that you're telling me that you experienced, it's not your fault.
Not your fault, and you didn't deserve it. Yep. And there is that difference between logically knowing a thing and feeling it and believing it.
Yeah. And that's been a tough one, and I'm working through that one. And it has been a slog.
Oh yeah, the actual work of therapy, man, that shit's hard.
Yeah.
That shit is so hard.
The other part, because obviously very front and foremost, is the thing with my mom's estate. And we've talked about this, how, if that was settled, that could help this family
Oh,
as a
God,
whole
yeah.
in so many ways.
And so you'd have one less worry to carry
Right.
around on your shoulders.
And it's, you know, because our financial state has weighed on me for some time.
Yep.
Yeah, like it's both of us, and you know, and this is something I have known for a long time, but you know, talking with the therapist, you know, you're talking about, and I can't remember what it is, and I'm sure somebody will be able to help me, you know, about knowing to see the things you can change and the things you
Accepting
accept the things you can't change,
Right.
you know, and you know, and on the therapist, you know, he said, because my one sister died, it'll be 9 years ago this August. They have several storage units and garages and sheds loaded with her stuff that nobody has gone through.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and now the cycle seems to be continuing with my mom. And, you know, she explained to me, she said that is a block that your sister has, and unless she gets the help she needs, she is not going to get through that. So, you know, I am trying to, you know, learn to accept that some of these things I cannot control.
Which I always find hilarious and ironic, because one of the things about you as a dominant partner and person is the most stress I've seen you under over the years, not withstanding, you know, caretaking for your mom, grieving, all that, is when you feel out of control.
Right.
Ultimately you want control of the different situations you're in. And when you can have the control and are in the mental place to be able to assume control, that's your comfort zone. And especially with family, but just in general, there's a lot of things that have come at you. Not even, you know, pre everything with your mom, that took away control that you had.
And I think, you know, the one that really brought that up to me was the motorcycle accident.
Ooh, yeah, I wanted you to be talking to somebody around the time that happened, because I kept going, you have not grieved this loss yet. There's the grief from the accident itself, the big ass hole in your memory, and then this bike that you had worked hard for, that you had babied, that had been a thing you loved, and we could not, and still have not, although we have a plan, we have not replaced it yet. You're not back on a bike. And that's a big chunk of your life that not only got disrupted, but got taken away from you. And then the little fucking shit who was the reason for it, don't get me started, you know, compounded that. And you, like, to be made whole from that, air quote, that big fat word, is not even possible.
Right.
And so, you know, you have had so much. I mean, we together as a couple have had a lot going on, but on an individual level of things that happen directly to you, you've had so much come at you that, I mean, I'm just grateful that you kept it together for as long as you did, because another person might have just lost their fucking minds. And who could blame them? Does anybody remember the complaining we did about 2021 and then into 2022? Like, it was a shit show after shit show after shit show.
Right.
And so, you know, I think you've needed this for a long time, but like I said before, and I think most of us who are aware of mental health on some level know, you do it when you're ready to do it.
And I mean, even there, you know, over last summer, I had some physical things happening to me, and at the same time, this whole emotional, mental thing was starting to roll into the mix as well. And you know, even with that, I was like, oh, this isn't a problem. This is not. You know, this is no.
I got this.
I can handle it. I can, you know, sail through it. No, I couldn't.
No, you couldn't, and I'm very glad you admitted that. We might get an Onyx sighting if she feels up for it.
And I think even at that point, just admitting it kind of helped.
Nothing is, air quote this word, nothing is fixed or solved, because we're not machines to be fixed. We're not puzzles to solve. But even though I know you're still kind of in the thick of things, I can see a difference that just having somebody to talk to, an objective third party who, because I am who I am, that person has validated the things I've said too, so I feel super smart. I like being right.
Yeah.
But I can see some. I know it might not match how you feel or how you feel that you are being, that what you're presenting, but I do see an extra lightness. Using the coping mechanism of just focusing on work when things get hard. A couple of months ago, you couldn't do that sometimes.
Right.
Like, we all understood we need to work because we need to earn money, but there were days where it was clearly a struggle for you.
Yeah.
And then over the past couple of weeks, there have been days I'm like, are you coming in? Like, and then I personally, as your loving partner and your submissive and all that, I then flip to, oh God, is he working too much? Is this now an unhealthy coping mechanism because he's overdoing it? But we talk about these things and we keep it in the open, and we try to the best of our ability to be upfront with how we're feeling and what we're seeing, and I have to I have to temper myself because I want to kind of be up your ass, like checking on you every 30 seconds, and that's not helpful for anybody.
No, and there was a point, even with my back, because you were just my back. You were. I was like, you got to back off.
Right. No pun intended.
You need to back off on asking me if I'm okay.
Right. It was too much.
Yeah.
And that was just me coping with my own worries and concerns.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to say about your side of this? Anything else that we haven't touched on?
I think I've talked more than
I know. You've probably talked in the past 30 plus minutes more combined than if we took every other episode since 2015 and combined where you've spoken.
Wow.
Look at you. It's what happens when I sort of shut up. Don't worry, when we get to, I think it's an upcoming topic where there's your side and my side.
Yeah.
We'll get more of this. But is there anything?
I think
feel like you're?
I feel like I've rambled enough.
Welcome to my world. So I'm actually gonna everybody laugh and roll your eyes. I'm actually gonna try and keep my side kind of brief, because a lot of what I experience, I know I have discussed in those previous episodes. So a lot of it would be kind of a repeat. And the reason this was top of mind for me, and I went, hey, can we actually talk about this, is I don't tend to call what I feel depression. I always have called it a depressive low, because it tends to be very cyclical is technically what it is, but not on like a dependable cycle. Like, it's not like every 20 days or every 2 months, but it follows a pattern and there's a cycle. And so I'm just now starting to come out of what I call a depressive low. I think in the previous episodes where we talked about this, I talked about how they tend to last anywhere from 18 to like 36 hours. This one might be the longest one I've gone through in a while. I don't know. Maybe I was just building it all up. In previous conversations we've had about this, I've talked about it being attached to the bipolar diagnosis I received, I think in 2018, maybe it was earlier than that. But I think the first time I talked about it, like in an episode, was 2018. So that's where my mind says maybe that's the year. And now with things I have learned over the past couple of years, I'm actually starting to wonder if I was misdiagnosed and if actually what I'm dealing with is ADHD, which is highly misdiagnosed and missed in women and girls in general, certainly adult women. And from what I've read and my understanding is that sometimes both ADHD and autism get misdiagnosed as other things, one of those being bipolar disorder. And And the reason I say that is because one of the psychiatrists the kids go to said something in relation to a kid. She was trying to figure out, is this ADHD or is this bipolar disorder? And she asked the question, when your thoughts race, are they grandiose? Like, are they just not rooted in reality at all? They're just pie in the sky. And he went, no, it's just fast thoughts of all these things I could be doing and all these ideas that I have and and I'm sitting there, and every appointment I go to with a kid, I'm like, this feels very familiar. And so that was my first questioning of, wait, my manic, air quote that, because I'm not sure anymore, side, I used to say it was grandiose because I didn't have any confidence in myself. And as I've gotten older and had fewer fucks to give, I just have racing thoughts. Usually have a ton of ideas. And then that was often followed by the depressive period, the low, because the thing I had thought was I'd been on this high, and now there's the coordinating low. And now I wonder if actually it's the ADHD, hyperfocus, adrenaline, dopamine, serotonin, like concoction going on in my brain for good reasons, and then not unlike subdrop, but not the same as subdrop, I drop. So I don't know what causes my depressive eras anymore. And I once said not that long ago, I probably would not go find out and try and get a formal diagnosis, but everybody in this household who is seeing somebody and or taking a medication keeps asking me, well, when are you going? And as I tell the kids, let me take care of the three of y'all. I'm on the list simply because I have, after 43 years, enough coping mechanisms that I can muddle through. Like, I'm not great. I'm not the life of a party, but I can get through what I'm going through. Most of the time it's anxiety. Right now, since Thursday night, it's been a depressive kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And the other reason I go, is it ADHD? Is because the high was not the manic euphoric thing that I'm used to. It was adrenaline and rage. I was working on a very difficult project for multiple weeks. I was in the tail end of it, and I was finishing it up, and my heart was constantly racing, and I was anxious, but not, and I was just so focused that it kind of makes sense that once that ended, the only place for me to go was down. There was certainly no going up from that down. Because we even talked about it. You know, you were like, don't you feel relieved? And I'm like, I feel nothing. Because when I'm in a depressive low, I definitely feel that weight that you talk about. I feel like I'm carrying just too much. It feels like I'm moving through mud. Like, just, it's hard to physically and mentally just do anything. I feel very apathetic, which is not like me at all. I am not typically apathetic to the things I at least care about. I feel like there's just no energy. There's no energy to draw from in order to, have conversations, do things beyond like what I need to do to like keep myself still alive kind of deal.
And that's something, and I was thinking about this while you were saying that. There have been times, and I've had some people, well, you do the podcast every week. You're on YouTube every week. Yeah, I am. And there have been times that now, I will say every Wednesday since we've been doing this, especially since we added the YouTube element, and doing various videos and other things, just in general, Wednesdays are recording days, our streaming days. By the end of it, when we're done, we are wiped.
Yeah.
Okay. It takes a lot of energy to do this every week.
Sure.
But there have been times when, I've been feeling this weight, and it's like you put on this mask. Mm-hmm.
It's called masking.
And
quite literally.
You turn on the mic and you turn on the camera and you do.
It's performative. It makes it more exhausting.
And then when it's all off, boom.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there's a lot of, and yet at the same time, typically, and this is how I knew things were off with me very quickly. Typically, no matter how I'm feeling, you and I have each had this experience.
Yeah.
We get in front of the camera, we're doing the live stream, we're recording, we're having the conversation, whatever it is, and by the end of it, we are exhausted, but we are energized.
And we are in a better headspace from it. Yes.
Last Friday, right as this depressive low thing was like kicking off, because I'd finished the project, my brain literally could not comprehend I didn't have to worry about this thing or think about this thing again. We did a game night thing with some of our kinky patrons, which the last time we did, I loved so much. I was like, I want to do this all the time. And I enjoyed it on Friday, as I always do when we do things like that. But I did not have the energy level. No. I did not get energized by it. By the time we were done, I was like, that was fun. It was one of those analytical things. I was like, that was, logically speaking, very delightful and enjoyable. But how I felt...
And I was in the same space as you at that time. I had fun. I enjoyed.
I'm glad it happened.
I'm glad it happened. I enjoyed the community of everybody that was there. It was wonderful community. But yeah, I did not get that energizing rush that I usually do from it. And when we were done, I was like, we fell into bed, and that was it. We were done.
So with this most recent depression thing, low, I'll call it, regardless of what causes it, where it came from. I've learned, we've had these conversations in 2 previous episodes. I'm constantly learning new things about myself, and I'm constantly learning how maybe this would be a better way to be or react or do things. And so a lot has not changed, but some things have changed. So I am very fortunate that when I hit this low, for the most part, I can still function. I don't want to function. Everything takes longer. I don't have the energy or desire to do things I don't absolutely have to fucking do. There's a lot of just laying still and scrolling on my phone because that's all I've got the capacity for. And it's funny because on one hand, as you're submissive, I am grateful for the structure we have in our relationship, because I do, to the best of my ability, still get all those things done. I'm still making coffee. I'm still checking on this. I am more prone to forget something when any part of my mental health is out of balance. High anxiety, depressive low, whatever the high is, whether that's actually a manic episode or it's whatever for another, thing. I don't know. I can be forgetful in those times, but so that can still happen. But in general, what gets me at least doing whatever my bare minimum is the obligation I have as a submissive, because no matter how bad I have felt, thank God, I'm grateful for this. No matter how bad I've ever felt, how weighted down I felt, I still want to be a good submissive to you. I still want to do, I don't want to do the things, but I want to be the person who does the things.
Now here's the thing, and I will say, as the person closest to you from the outside looking in while you were doing that project, I could see
it better be worth the money. Or the money better be worth it. I don't know.
I could see the emotional toll it was taking on you.
It was ticking a lot of my neurospicy boxes. It was the least efficient thing I've ever done. I felt like I was under a time crunch. At any given moment, I had to completely disrupt my routine and schedule, which I depend on to get. I was angry, but I was determined, and I actually liked the concept. I just wanted it to be better, which then I wrote essentially a novel to the client of, here's how I think you could make this better. And if you need help making this better, I'm here. But it was a lot, and I was functioning at a level 11 every time I was doing it. So when it ended, that was another thing where I didn't feel very submissive. So the project ended. I finished it. I submitted it. But I was writing the novel with my thoughts and feedback, which they actually do accept for me. It's not like I just inserted myself. I have that rapport.
They know and love that of her.
Right. I do sometimes make things better where I go, not just more chaotic. But I was trying to finish it up because in my mind, this project was not done until I fucking hit send on that email. And JB was trying to talk to me and make plans for the weekend and just have some lunch. And I, in a way that I don't, if I have ever talked to you like that in the past, it was in a situation like this and only this, because without really even looking up, just started snapping. I was like, I cannot hear what you're saying right now. I cannot deal with this. I am trying to do this. And I mean, there was no respect in the tone. Let's be real.
And here's the thing. As her big D, as her daddy, and as long as we have been in a relationship, I know, like I say, I saw and watched her emotional state through that whole process of that project. I also know her well enough to know that when it, once she hit the submit button and it was done, that it was sent, I knew she was just not going to instantly snap back and be the Kayla I know and love.
No.
She slipped. And I also know at that point that is not the time to come to you and say, okay, you're done with this. Now we need to...
Yeah, I would spiral even more.
You would have spiraled even more. Instead, what I did, I let her take her time to sit on the sofa and mindlessly scroll and do what she wanted to do. I brought her home treats of Diet Cokes.
You did here's what kills me. You did a really good job of taking care of me. This past Saturday, we had talked about it, and it's so weird, and I don't know how many other people might experience something like this. I was feeling low. I knew I was feeling low, and again, it is comparable to subdrop, but for me, it's just not the same thing. I think it's a similar reaction in that you have the high and then you have the low, but it feels so different from subdrop. So I don't like to compare it to that, but if you have not experienced this and you're like, but what does that feel?
The same but different, yeah.
It's similar. Like it's in the family. It's in the Venn diagram. So we had been talking about we had even tried to play hooky Friday afternoon because I did not have the capacity to do any work, and I finally admitted that to myself. That is also growth. And we were going to try and play hooky and go to lunch and and then the internet folk showed up to connect us, and I was both excited and very pissed off. So I just went, I guess I'm sitting on the couch. And so we moved everything to Saturday. We were kind of child free because only the 17-year-old was home. And so we were like, let's go do things. And if I had not wanted to do them, I would have said, not this Saturday, let's move this. But I wanted to do them. But the low puts me at a remove from what I'm experiencing and how I feel. There's that apathy that's like this. It's like a not quite clear glass between me and everything else. Like I can kind of see, I can kind of understand, like that's a good thing and I'm enjoying this, but I'm not feeling it.
Right.
And so we go run errands, we go to lunch, we are doing all these things, and then at the end of it, you are incredibly sweet and wonderful, and you're showing your gratitude for me for doing this. I think partly because you knew I was not in it, but also because it's just nice to have these moments, and it's been a while since we could do stuff like that. And it was another one of those moments where my logical, analytical brain went, this is a good thing, and I am glad we did this, and this was a good day. But what I could feel was so muted, I could not actually feel the happiness or the excitement. The one thing I've gotten better about over time, which if there's anything air quote educational to take away from this, this is the one thing I'd say we all need to probably be as good as we can be about this. I communicate that better than I used to. I tell you, I am low. This is not good. I am not feeling the way I would normally feel. Whatever it is. At one point we were out and we were about to have that very stereotypical couple thing of, what do you want to eat? I don't know. What do you want? Yeah. And I was definitely and I have been for a while, in some decision fatigue, episode coming on that soon. But also I was not in a place where I could like just pick anything, because it wasn't that there was anything that sounded awful. It was more like it's almost an I don't care. It was that apathy again. I fucking hate feeling apathetic. And so instead of going, I don't know, what do you want? Or Daddy, please just decide. What I said was, when you ask me what I want, I literally can think of nothing, regardless of what I know is out there. I also do not have the capacity to try to make a decision. That does not mean, though, that if you tell me some places, I will not immediately have an opinion. So, and I said all this as we're literally going down the road. So if you want to throw out the names of some places, I will let you know my initial reaction to them, and we can maybe narrow this down. And thankfully, the first place you said, I kind of went, yeah, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But it was one of these things where that should have been this yummy, scrumptious OMG meal. And quite frankly, the one time I felt almost myself is when we were eating, because eating is definitely a coping mechanism as well.
That comfort, that comfort level of eating.
When things aren't going right, I go to the pantry. Anyway, but even then, that was still at a kind of a remove, and I fucking hate that feeling. I'm glad I can express it to you, and you take it as just a fact that is no judgment on you and no judgment on us, and not even a judgment on me. It's like okay, I know how she normally responds and how she would normally feel. This is not her typical state. And then I basically just sort of, and this is what I fucking hate about these lows. I don't usually dread Mondays. We work for our fucking selves. I set my schedule. I get to do what I want to do on a Monday. I don't get the Sunday scaries, as they're called. And yeah, I was still so low that Sunday I was dreading Monday. And then Monday I did some stuff, but I was so lost and dazed and confused that I wouldn't. I did stuff that was productive, but all of it was like admin work, which is usually the stuff I'm kind of putting off a little bit because it involves emails and phone calls, and I still didn't feel quite myself. But what I did notice is once in that situation, in this specific time, and I would never say it always works for me every time this happens, once I started doing things that I want to be doing, that's when I've started coming out of it. I feel less apathetic. I feel less weighed down. I do find myself taking deep sighs, and I learned just recently that is it from anxiety? It might be an ADHD thing as well. They're all crossing in my mind because between the kids' diagnoses and me seeing myself in my children, I'm learning about a lot of things all at once. But the almost holding your breath and then releasing it as a big sigh can be part of like that stuff, whether it's anxiety or ADHD, I can't remember which. And I notice I do that, and I can tell like when it's my anxiety because like my jaw's clenched and I have forgotten to breathe. I haven't, but I feel like I have. In a depressive low, I sigh more because there's this weight that sits on my chest. My anxiety, I feel in my throat because I always feel like it's closing off and I can't breathe. The depression sits on my chest. And so I've noticed, I've been very conscious lately, if I just keep doing these deep sighs, and slowly the sighs feel less heavy because I feel less, not literally, but like emotionally heavy and drained. So I can feel myself coming out of it, but it's like at the top of this episode when we were doing the butt rub section over on YouTube. Podcast listeners, consider chiming into just that if you're ever curious. I'm looking at you going, I don't even know what to say. Now, I always have something to say. We know that. I'm not pretending otherwise. But, like, I could not come up with anything. I could not think of things. My typical energy just has not completely come back yet. Yeah. It's getting there, and I feel a little bit of it in this conversation because this is definitely a happy place for me. Yeah. So I'm from the DS side of things, I'm grateful that the way I experience depression is temporary. It is in weird little cycles that are not predictable cycles. And that I am still able to function, because I know a lot of people cannot function through their depression. I can get up and do whatever I consider the bare minimum. The other difference over the past several years, because I apparently I can have memories of feeling this way periodically over definitely my entire adult life, probably my teenage years. I don't remember before that. Of a lot of feelings of guilt, and that I'm a bad partner, a bad submissive, a bad mom, a bad this, a bad that, because I can't move and I can't get up, and I know what I need to be doing, and I don't have the will to do it, and I can't do it. This time, it took me about a day to realize what the fuck was going on, but I can't say that the old thoughts of, well, here's what you should do, a good business owner would do, a good submissive would do, right? those thoughts crept in, but I understood what was happening, and I was able to, in a slightly judgment-free way, go, whoa, this is the low. This is the low that you've gone through this before. It's temporary. This one is a long one. I don't remember the last time it was this long. And I just went ahead and just gave myself grace, and I did not technically need forgiveness, but I gave it to myself anyway. I went, it's okay to just lay here like a lump and just stare at the ceiling or scroll through your phone. It's okay. It's like, you always get through this. You will, and I am fortunate I can say that to myself. I know not everybody's experience with depression is like that, but, and that helped too. 'Cause a lot of the time over past minimum 20 years, when I've gone through this, most of the time is spent with me being mean to myself in my own head, full of self-recrimination about what I'm not doing, what I should be doing, how dare I, like, blah, 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 like all the mean stuff we can say to ourselves. Slowly over time, that is less for me, because I understand to a certain degree what's going on. I know it's out of my control. I know it will pass. I have you, who's extremely supportive and caring. Thankfully, the kids are at a stage where they need me so much less, or just need me in different ways, that it's not like I'm like, oh my God, I'm letting my children go hungry. No, their asses know how to pop popcorn and make a sandwich. They'll be fine. Like, it's fine. And our line of communication is open in such a way that even when I can't voice, hey, this is a low for me, I can voice, and I'm better at voicing. It's not right. And I can't right now. And we've been fortunate that our depressive states can coexist without it all falling down around us. And for that, I am grateful.
Yeah.
But like I said, I go back to what I said a few minutes ago about, even the kids are like, Mom, when are you going to go deal with your anxiety, deal with yours, I think both kids are like, just go get diagnosed for ADHD and autism spectrum disorder. I've been taking some online, like good online assessments, and I don't know who I am anymore.
Oh gosh.
And I tell them, like, I will, and I really will. But right now, every copay for every visit everybody goes to for everything we've got going on is $100, $100. My coping mechanisms are at least keeping me upright. Are they the best? No. Is that how I would like to live my entire fucking life until I'm like 99 3/4? No. But they'll serve for right now.
Yeah.
I'm functional right now. I am sometimes a fucking riot right now. Not always. So, it is better for me right now to do what I'm doing and to handle myself the way that I'm handling myself, as long as it's not breaking down a relationship.
Right.
The kids are not getting what they need. Like, there's so many factors. And if those factors come into play, I know somebody will say something to me right at the moment as I'm thinking it. And then, but yeah, I just go, I'm on the list. We'll get there.
We'll get you there too.
So.
Absolutely.
So yeah, if you want more insight, even though this is an updated version of me, and all those previous 2 episodes that are linked in the places are your best place to go, because those I think both of those were really mostly me. With, like, we might touch on how you were feeling about certain things, but this one was more you, and I think that's good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I think we've talked a lot.
We could find more to say,
but
I'm good if we don't.
I mean, the only thing I would say, just to kind of bring this to a little bit of closure, this was not meant to diagnose or fix anybody.
Please, if you send us an email, I cannot tell you if that's depression. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the best thing you can do if you think you are experiencing depression, please reach out for professional help.
If you have access, if you have insurance, whatever, please.
If you have some way to reach out for help, please do it. And asking for help is not a sign of weakness.
It's a sign of strength. Too many people refuse to ask for help because, depending on what generation you're from and how you were raised, it was probably literally and figuratively beat into you that not to. Keep your mouth shut, do your thing, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that felt lighter. I caught myself taking the deep breath, and then I went, oh, wait.
Yeah.
It feels a little less weighty.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Are we,
Are we good? That will never be for me to say.
Yeah.
Have we reached a conclusion of where we do not want to discuss this topic anymore, but we would like to move on to a bonus section, and you can finally tell people what the hell happened to your finger that's all bandaged up?
Yep.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Keep it kinky, y'all. And we'll see you next week. Daddy.
Yes, baby girl.
I'm asking if I can talk to the crickets, but really I'm asking, will you please tell at least the YouTube folks who can see your poor bandaged finger, what the hell happened to your finger?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
We can talk about other things after that, but there.
So, yeah, as many people noticed in the beginning of the stream, my index finger on my right hand is bandaged up.
From the very top to, all the way to the bottom.
It's not as bad as it looks, bandaged like that. It's just the best way to keep it bandaged at the moment.
He's wearing what I can only describe as a gauze finger condom.
Yeah. So anyway, I was working out in the shop yesterday. Been working to give Kayla a dump of diabolical sticks to restock the shop.
That's the update I would have loved to have made today.
And I was on the lathe turning handles. I was in the process of parting off one of the handles, which means I had the chisel in left hand, and right hand was waiting for the handle to cut through and drop off. What happened was had what's called a catch. When the chisel catches the object that you're turning and throws the chisel. So it did that. It caught my hand, pushed it into the chuck, lathe revolving at 2,000 RPMs, and it caught my fingernail. Yeah, he said, find a lighter topic like finger mutilation, right? Yeah. So the chuck caught my fingernail and did a really good job of ripping about half of it off, or splitting half of the fingernail.
Whatever it looks like, he would not let me look at it.
I wouldn't know. She has not seen it. She's had to help me change the bandage a couple times, but I have not let her see it. So yeah, that's kind of the story with the finger. I'm a little surprised it doesn't hurt more than it does. Finding out how inconvenient it is to not have use of index finger, especially being a right-handed person. It's been a little frustrating, but getting around it. So I'm just keeping it clean, keeping it covered, and probably be a while before the fingernail grows out. But
yeah. Back when many years ago, when I was a kid, I lost a fingernail through something different than that. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it took a while for that thing to grow back out.
Yeah. It happens. Using power tools like this. Accidents do happen. It's not the first time I've had.
I still remember the one where, was that a piece of wood that literally hit you in the chest?
That was on the table saw.
Yeah. Okay, it was a little funny then once I realized he was fine. But the part of the reason he was not going to let me see his finger is because I have been very clear that I can handle a lot of things. Blood ain't one of them. Gaping wounds, not one of them. So in that situation, this piece comes off of the table saw at however many miles per hour, hits him dead in the chest, ends up being this massive black bruise.
Yeah.
I hear him scream. I knew a power tool was in use. At the time we were in our condo, and so the garage was off. There was a door to the side of the garage, and there was the front door, and I could stand there and yell into the garage, but couldn't see anything. I was like, "Are you okay?" No.
Yeah.
Do I need to call 911? Are you bleeding? No. And then I could walk out because
Right.
poor thing, he'd have been in so much trouble. Like, I am really good in most crises. Like, I am the one. It's that anxiety thing. I've been planning for the worst case scenario my whole fucking life. I got this.
Yeah.
This is what I was born for. But not if it involves a person I deeply love with a gaping wound.
I am a little surprised the way I was screaming expletives out in the shop that you didn't hear me.
No, I did not.
And silent, no, there is not a diabolical stick out there with my DNA on it.
That one will become mine. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Oddly enough, no, it while it did bleed, it was not like gushing blood everywhere. I came in, I had Kayla help me bandage up.
All I was allowed to do was put the tape around the gauze.
I covered the finger with the gauze, and I said, "Okay, tape it up, please."
Once he said, because I was going, "What exactly happened? What's wrong with your finger?" And he's saying, "Don't worry about it. You're not allowed to look." Like, in his dom tone, y'all. You are not allowed to look. I just went, clearly he's protecting me from myself. And he was in the bathroom getting things together. And I just stood off to the side of the bathroom door so I couldn't see anything. But I could hear him clearly. And then when he was ready for me to come in, then I did.
It was not bad enough to the point when, I looked at it. Was not bad enough that it needed stitches.
Right. I would have driven you to wherever for stitches.
I know. In the time that I was out there and sailor speaking, the little bit of blood that was coming out of it slowed down, so I knew it wasn't like, profusely bleeding.
No. For anybody who can't actually see me, I am writhing every time he talks about bleeding.
Yeah.
So if you also are, you are not alone.
Mm-hmm. I bandaged it up after I showered yesterday. Again, that's when I got the finger condom, as Kayla's calling it.
That's what they look like.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
And I'm waiting to see the colors that the fingernail will have turned.
I'm sorry. Until that heals, you might have to wear gloves anytime you would like to approach me sexually.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Maybe also while we're eating dinner. Maybe while we're holding hands. I don't know. You might just have to be perma-bandaged until that.
So anyway, it took a little bit of a licking, keeping it covered, keeping it clean. Mm-hmm. That's why I didn't get in the pool yesterday.
Sure, at the gym.
At the gym. And I'll just keep it, let it get healed up.
I'll try not to do what I always do when you have an injury. I will try not to bang into it accidentally and forget that it's injured.
Thank you.
I make no promises that it won't happen, but I will try.
Yeah.
I'm the only one who can have somebody who's got like a pain in their back, and I'll slap them on the back. Or, that knee's bothering you, let me knock into it accidentally.
So I've been, Rara mentioned still as long as I can use the middle finger. I've kind of been starting to use my middle finger in place of my index finger, and I keep thinking it's like, I hope people don't misunderstand what I'm doing here.
Hi, how are you doing? Yeah, just flipping everybody off.
It's like, okay, I'm pointing at you right now.
No, point with the bandage finger. We can all see that one very clearly. As a beacon of light in a dark time.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's kind of what happened. Yeah.
I think very early on in the live chat for the stream, somebody asked about Lola. She's doing good. She's been in and out of this damn house while we've been trying to stream and record. Yeah. I thought I was going to get Onyx up on the desk while you were talking, because she did come to me, but she wouldn't jump up here. No. I even cleared space for her.
Yeah, she came around to my side and was kind of looking a little bit, but she decided not to.
Ella.
Yeah.
And we have not come up with a name for the outdoor orange floof that we have semi-adopted. And when I say semi-adopted, I mean when she shows up, I give her as much love as I can, and we feed her outside. She does not come inside. I don't know what it would take for Onyx. Ella would be fine, I think. Onyx would freak the fuck out with a third cat. But also, I would not bring a stray cat into the house without taking it to the vet first because of fleas or parasites or anything else. So we've been the orange floofer, who is a long-haired cat that I said I never wanted a long-haired cat, but I am absolutely fucking in love with.
She is in love with this cat.
Not only a beautiful cat, a loving cat allows me to within her, and yes, it's an orange cat. That is definitely a girl. That was a vagina. Okay, those were no balls there. That was a vagina I saw. Well, because she is a cat that when you rub her butt, that ass, head down, ass up. Like, she actually lays her head down on the ground and, like, just rolls. Oh, my God, she's in heaven.
She face plants.
She does. She's adorable. But she's got this, like, mane around her head and this big floofy tail. And we've been feeding her. We feed her twice a day when she comes around. But then there'll be a couple days where, I don't know, she's got another house where they feed her or what happens. But when she comes around, we feed her, so she started to kind of fill out.
Yeah.
She's let me pick her up a few times. Not like I don't do anything crazy with her. I don't like carry her around or anything, and I let her down the moment she wants down. But she's allowed it. Yesterday morning, I think we were like, where did she go? Because she had been out there eating, and I'd given her some love, and
she was in our tree.
She was in one of our trees, and it was like all four paws, like on a cut top limb that just had like it was very precarious, and she was fine.
Yeah.
She's got this teeny tiny little like dainty meow that just melts my fucking heart every time. She does this thing when she's coming up to you but is not already there and hasn't gotten that first pet or scratch yet. She turns around in a full
circles.
360, and it's like she's trying to back up to you but in circles, but her sense of direction's a little off, so she'll go off away, and I'm like, no, come over here. I just call her kitty, 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 and I say it real high pitched, and we've watched her leap and run like she's a fucking lion on a plane somewhere, and she just will run across yards to get up to our yard, or she'll, when we're walking Lola, she will walk with us.
She will walk. That is hilarious to see. We're walking Lola in the street, and this little cat doesn't really come out to the street and walk with us, but she'll walk through the yards.
Mm-hmm. And if she stops like in some random driveway and we've gotten further, she'll
run to catch up. And
she's amazing to watch run because she just like extends completely.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's young.
Yeah.
The meow makes me think that, but I don't know why that's what makes me think that. Also, she was so thin when we first saw her. She's still kind of thin, but that tummy's starting to fill out.
Yeah.
Her tail's floofier than it was.
Mm-hmm.
We have to. So our neighbor who works for the county shelter system, animal shelter system, and clarify, has a cat that's an indoor-outdoor cat, big orange cat. Beautiful, but it's not coming near us. We'll drink the water, or if there's leftover food, we'll eat it, but he does not want anything to do with us. But he's beautiful. We have to defend her from him, because if we put food out, he will intimidate the shit out of her until she runs off, and then he's like, oh, free snack. And this is a cat that has clearly not missed a fucking meal. So we have to go out there and shoo him away so she'll come back and eat and whatever. So yeah, I think that most likely she would be an outdoor cat that we will see and love and feed as often as we can.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's some point down the road that she becomes really our cat. We've already talked about if she's around and during like some of the summer storms, or like we know a hurricane's coming or something, we'll see if we can put her in the garage so she can at least stay safe. But she's also now a stray who has hidey holes and
right.
will sometimes just be gone for a couple of days, so we don't know. So yeah, I have not come up with a name, because the moment I name her, she's fucking mine, and I'll fight any other bitch who wants to claim her. It's done. It's fucking done.
Yeah,
so I have not named her, but also she responds so well to kitty kitty. I'm like, okay, whatever I name her has to mirror kitty kitty so I can get her to fucking come to me. So yeah, I'm completely smitten. I know. It takes so little. Just give me a little bit of love and affection. And like me best, okay? It really is. Like the youngest, the 13-year-old, I was like, you should go pet her. He's great with cats. He loves animals. I was like, you should, go pet her. She's sweet. He's vying for title of the one she loves best. He sat outside with her for a while yesterday.
We got home. I got home from picking him up from school yesterday, and I came in the house. I was ahead of him, and didn't see him. He, even Kayla asked, "Where's my boy?"
Right.
And I went to the front door. He must have been coming in, getting ready to come in. He saw the orange cat. He literally just dropped all his stuff right at the front door on the porch, and he's out there in the grass just petting and playing with this cat.
She makes our front yard look very picturesque because she's this big orange floof, and she'll sit in our, thankfully it still looks nice, mostly mowed green grass, and it's very picturesque. I'm like, wow, okay. Yeah, seeing her in the damn tree yesterday threw me out. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck? So, yeah, we don't know what's gonna happen. But whatever we do, we're gonna be very mindful of our girls.
Yeah.
They are our top priority. Also, we really cannot afford vet bills for another animal.
A third, yeah.
And we feed her dry food because we weren't sure how often she was coming around, so we weren't gonna invest in wet food, which is what our cats eat. So we have a $10 bag of cat food that's been lasting for a while. I'm like, if we officially adopt this cat and get her inside, she goes on wet food. That's wet food ain't cheap. So there's a lot to consider.
Yeah.
And some cats, as long as they have a safe place to go and know that they can get fed and are not, out there making dozens of babies. Sometimes outdoor cats can stay outdoor cats and it's okay.
Right.
But I mean, I would prefer to cuddle her like the perfect baby she is and love on her inside. But
the bunny asked how Lola's walks are going. They're doing okay. We kind of accepted the fact she likes to sniff, and that's what she does.
And some walks, we have found the trick. It doesn't work every time, but if we both go on the walk together, which I didn't go with you last night, and somebody, but it's been me, is walking ahead of her. Something about having somebody to follow or pursue, because sometimes she will walk very steadily and very quickly just because there's people 100 to 200 yards ahead of us who are also walking. She's not going to catch up to them. She's not even running to catch up to them, but it's like she's got this target. So we started doing this where we don't walk together and it's not romantic. I literally walk in front of them. And for the most part, she will keep going at a steady pace because we want her to go outside and sniff and have that enrichment. But what she fucking needs is movement.
Yeah.
She needs to walk at a pace, consistent pace for more than 30 seconds. That's what she needs. So we think we found a way.
Yeah. Last night it was kind of funny walking her by myself. We got 3/4 of the way through the walk. And Lola decided she wanted belly rub. She just stopped in the street, lay down, rolled over, and was like, okay, rub my belly. And, God love her. She can be as stubborn as the day is long. So I bent down and rubbed her belly for a little bit and was like, okay, that's it. Let's go. And she did get up and we,
I think she doesn't mind when the cat walks with us because I keep them separated because too close and Lola wants to chase and that freaks the cat out, as it would most of us. But I'll bend over to pet this cat in the middle of the street, in the middle of somebody's driveway, whatever. I have no shame. And Lola's like, oh good, I can take a break, and she just plops down and waits.
Yep.
So yeah, but no. So yeah, the fur baby update. Yeah, I also have second dog fever. I won't say baby fever or puppy fever, but I'd love a second dog. Do we need that level of chaos, and can we afford that? No. But do I?
I think Lola would benefit.
I think so too.
From another dog.
I think so too. But can we afford it?
Not right now.
Do we have time for the chaos?
No, we do not.
No, we do not.
We do not.
The time will come. The day will come.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yep.
It's fine.
So, other than that, the fur babies are all doing well. We're plodding along doing our thing and,
Emphasis on the plotting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd rather be plotting, but, all we got is a plod right now. So,
I guess that's about it.
I think that's more than enough.
Yeah.
I think that's plenty. yeah, we're here. I know we talked about a heavy thing today, and and depression for a lot of people, you know, is equated to sadness, which it can feel like sad, but it feels like other things too. We are probably better than the conversation maybe portrayed. We are maybe not as good as our personas online sometimes give off. Like it's a balance. We're good. We're like anybody else. We're making it through whatever the fuck life is gonna throw at us at any given moment, including the life that is just our own minds and feelings and thoughts and all of that. So yeah, we're, you know, I, like you, work as one of my coping mechanisms, and the one thing I think that has helped me start to come out of this low was I did work on those candles and got those up on the site, thekinkery.com. And I did finish the stickers, and I have so many ideas, and I'm gonna like try and pace myself and get those out slowly but surely. And like I got some senses of accomplishment on things I wanted to work on, and so that feels good to me. And I know you kind of have that. This internet thing you've been doing, I think, has been a boost for you. So.
It has. It's you know, it has been really, you know, while I have kind of been the IT guy for us, it was really cool to kind of deep dive into this stuff, and, you know, setting up the routers and configuring everything,
creating the network, and creating it's like a kid who just got to go to the toy store and just like pick out what you want kind of thing. It was like, oh, look at all this stuff.
I did. I enjoyed that. It was really cool to dive into that stuff. Like, you know, I haven't done that in quite a few years, so it was really nice to do. So but anyway, that's us.
Yeah, there'll be more next week. We'll probably be in a different, I don't know if it'll be better, but a different mood, and so
different headspace.
There'll be more. There's always more. So I guess that's it for us this week. Thanks to everybody for sticking with us till the bitter end. Thanks for being here for this big ass topic. And I guess we're gonna go now. We love y'all. Bye.
Bye.